All right, guys. You guys want to blow up your back? That's how I blow my back up. You want a mass building back workout? Try this. You want bulging lats? You want Tyrannosaurus traps? You guys want lats like Dorian Yates with half the work and half fucking genetics? You want to figure out how to not work hard, get big? You want, this is the shortcut channel. Anyway, there's actually a video I made. I don't know who fucking knows. It was made before. I don't even know if it's up yet, so it could be made after this. Who knows? Where it's kind of like busting people's balls, like on their like super nuanced training, like making fun of like the angle of your hand, or like this and that, like all these little things that like people obsess about and think make everything better. But in doing that, like also like there also is like some truth to that. I don't know how else to put it. There's also some like there's an aspect that is needed, and it's more like for people who are advanced, I guess you could say, but also for beginners. Because like we've talked about in other videos, like in terms of grip, how like my grip would be a hook on stuff, and as I pull, my grip gets stronger, or I relax my hand on the way out and I pull on the way in to prevent this, like especially on pulling stuff, to prevent this like this forearm fatigue and like over flexing of the forearm, overwork of the forearm. I'm relying more on grip strength for stuff, right? So we've been over that, like the relaxing of the hand, tensing and squeezing, letting things relax. But there is something to be said. I've noticed it when I'm training people, because when people that come to train with me, they're not new at training, but they're new at training with me. It's just like not only is the over gripper problem, where it's like they want to grab this and like hold it as much as they can in their hand and keep this forearm tight the whole time. So this is like a locked down mechanism. All this is locked in one piece. There's no individual pieces. From here down is one chain that's completely locked, right? So that's a mistake a lot of people make. Like we said, when we talked about the false grip or the light grip and squeeze. But it's also, once you say you've mastered that, or say you're having a problem with this like loose grip type thing, understand that the portions of your hand where you do put pressure are going to elicit contractions in different places, and allow for more shoulder dexterity and more chest lift, or maybe more relaxedness in your neck, relaxedness in your arm. So if you don't get the looseness, or if you do get it, this applies to you as well. So if I'm grabbing this, I'll do it on just this one side so you can't see, but if I was doing it with two, it's the same shit. If I have two here, it's the same thing. If my grip is loose the way I have it here, when I go to pull this, since this arm is heading down here to my side, this is where the fucking arm's heading, it's not heading right back at me. So I'm not trying to pull on an angle that's right back at me, because when I do that and I pull here, I get this. Because this thing wants to keep traveling down, and I'm still traveling that way. I'm not pulling down with it, so I'm not moving on the line of the machine. So to understand that, and understand that I'm falling away, it's almost like when the hand gets to a certain point, if you come on this side, if I'm holding here, it's almost like this is my trigger finger. These are now both my trigger fingers. So this is where my grip will be the most intense. My hand's holding, but when I go to pull here, this is what's pulling harder. If I was to demonstrate with my hands being open, I'm literally pulling like this more, but my hand is closed, so all you're gonna see is grip. But I'm gonna tip weight more into this knuckle and these two, like the top part of my hand, than I am anywhere else. Because there's no need, if I'm coming over something, for me to keep contact with the bottom of my palm, necessarily. It's gonna be there, but I'm not trying to dig the underhand of my palm in and squeeze this down, because I can't even get my shoulder to move then, because I've restricted the movement of my shoulder. Whereas if I push into here and I squeeze these two fingers, I get a lot more shoulder retraction than if I push the bottom of the two lower fingers down. I'd be stuck. My pull would be a lot tighter and a lot less range of motion, right? So if I feel like I'm grabbing both of these and I'm doing this trigger, like where I'm understanding that my pressure's up top and on these two fingers, I just close around it. When I go to pull here and lean back and slide, as you can see, I can open my hands and I can be here. So I'm not gripping everything just for the sake of gripping. I'm going to keep my hand on. I'm not recommending that you guys do this at the bottom of your pull, but this is where predominantly my pressure is. That's why I can open my hand even, because I'm down and back and shoulders and lats in here. So when this tips over, it pulls those two front fingers, those two fingers over, and we tip back again. The whole hand is gripping and the whole hand has contact, but I'm pulling almost like I'm pulling a trigger. And that will also help you guys understand that when you get to the length of something, it's not, you don't have to go and pull something. I can literally ease back and squeeze this trigger and pull into my hand. So I'm almost doing this as I pull. I'm pulling into my hand right here, right? Obviously both hands are on. So it's just understanding that pressure, and that pressure in those top 2 fingers pulls my shoulders around and lets me set down more and lets me relax here. So I'm loose everywhere else. I can tip this down. I could literally keep pulling and tip this down if I wanted to there. But my chest lift and my shoulder and my elevation of my sternum allows me to get to here, right? So it's the same on other pull as well. It's getting the tension where you want it to be. We use these 2 again. The same idea here. This is an angled handle, like going diagonally this way. It is not straight. So you trying to pull it straight makes no sense. It's not straight up and down here and I'm grabbing and pulling straight back like a fucking cable attachment. This is like already, my angle is pointed down, my hands are now pointed down. So I'm gonna pull on an angle that allows me to get under that handle right away, like I duck my elbow, and then I tip these knuckles down more. So when I roll, I'm rolling back and I have way more pressure on these upper fingers than I do on my pinky or anything, because I'm not trying to shorten my pull and make it tighter. I'm trying to get retraction of shoulder, so I'm trying to stay as loose as I can through my arm so that my shoulder can move and I can rock through things. So I end up here when I pull, almost there. Like I can be that loose. I could do the pull if I wanted with 2 hands. I don't want to. But I'm saying, think about where you're putting tension, where you're gripping things, and like how you are shifting the weight within your hand. It could be the same on presses as well. If I'm pressing and I have equal distribution across my hand, if I understand more that like when I turn my hand out and I get a little more pressure on the outside edge of my hand, especially on like a fly. Let's say if I'm doing a fly and I'm over here, cable fly, whatever. If I notice that I put a little more pressure here, and I'm able to lift up through my rib cage more, then I'm able to scoop more chest than if I'm always trying to push over these top 3 fingers, 4 fingers, thumb area. I'm trying to come around. If I want to scoop through, my whole hand's still on, but I feel like I'm doing this as I scoop. My hand's not moving though, but on demonstration on air, this is the movement I'm trying to get to happen, because I'm trying to scoop up ribs and grab pec. When I'm on this angle, I'm doing the same thing. Right? So if I wanted to get upper, then I would stand up a little taller and I would come over upper range of knuckles and I would squeeze here, because I'd want to be looser so I can retract and slide. The whole idea is that wherever you're putting that tension is allowing for your body to relax and allowing shoulder movement and chest movement and body to not lock down. Because the problem is that with you guys and girls is that you immediately grab weight and you get as tense as possible. And this is the problem with all your lifts. Not just like back, chest, like it's legs, it's everything. Like there's not enough time in this video to go over all the fucking tension that you guys and girls create in your bodies. And I don't know, it's been ingrained since the beginning of time. I was taught it too. I don't remember who taught it to me. No one can tell them who taught them it. Like we've talked about before, but it's just like getting yourself in this position and embracing for something that's not gonna happen. Like I understand, like it's like when you say that to sports, like you tell someone like they're playing football or hockey, like you got your stick on ice, be in a ready position, like be a little pliable in your legs, like have your balance equally distributed, be able to move, right? Same thing in football. If I'm a linebacker, I'm sitting here, or I'm a lineman, I want to be like, understand my balance. It's like, I'm not just gonna stand here and be like, and then I'm gonna like run away. You know what I mean? So it's like, you understood in sports, they taught you that because you got to be in a primed, ready position. That doesn't mean when you pick up a weight that you have to do the same thing. I don't need to go, because one, no one's coming to hit you. Two, you don't have to change direction very quickly because you're sitting on a fucking stationary machine. So like all this locking down and like maneuvering around weights and being so hyper aggressive with weight is like a complete waste of time. It's only hindering all your stuff you're doing. And that's a video we just put out, or a clip I just put out the other day, talking about guys putting all this weight on hack squats and all this weight on leg presses and screaming and all this stuff. It's purely feeding your guys' inner dialogue that like, the more weight I do, the better I get, the bigger I get, the bigger I get, the better I get, like all this stuff. Like it's a lie you're telling yourselves that you don't know why you're afraid to not believe it. Because if you don't believe it, then what the fuck are you doing in here, right? Like, it's terrifying to people. That's why a lot of people in this world, they just cling to ideas that they believe are true because they're so scared of that idea not being true that they'd rather just stick with the idea being true. Because like the opposite idea would be complete chaos in their life. Like if I told some guy in here and I convinced him, guy or girl, you don't have to lift as much as you can every time you come in here. You don't have to try and kill yourself. You can still grow muscle in a number of ways, and it'll be way more intense. It'll be way more beneficial, way more like effective. And they'll be like, no. Like you can show them it, and I show people all the time. I hold their hand through workouts. They walk out of the workout. I fucking never felt this before, ever. And you see them back the next day in the gym, fucking sliding plates on. There's people that I've seen that I've trained for like months at a time. Like put dedicated work into and help them with like lagging body parts. Like this is not how you train your chest. This is how you train your chest. They're feeling their chest. They're feeling their chest grow. They're feeling their chest grow. As soon as I leave them, or as soon as they leave me and get like around other people, back to the same old bullshit. Back to the same old shit chest too. Because nothing happens, man. You're just spinning your wheels. And if you guys took a real inventory of your physiques, like guys, the average guy in the gym, guys, girl in the gym, like take a look at yourself from 3 years ago, take a look at yourself today. Has there really been that much change? For some of you, there really will be because of a little, you know what I mean? Like there will be, don't get me wrong. But like if you're just some average dude who's like doing all this stuff that people say is what you're supposed to do, be really honest with yourself. Say, is anything changing? And it's probably a no. So it's like, obviously what you're doing isn't working, but you're still gonna stick to it because you're so afraid of the opposite, which is chaos to you. Because it can't like, well, I did 190 here this week, so next week it's 210. Making progress, fucking skinny dude, walk off. Like nothing's fucking happening, right? Like it's crazy, but you guys need to just be more conscious of all these, like these little things that I'm talking about, like ways to grip things, how to squeeze things, how to relax your arm, how to do this. All that stuff might seem advanced and it might seem like, oh, this doesn't apply to me, man. I just want to lift weights and all that stuff. If you lack the intellectual ability or the intelligence to be able to apply that simple of a cue or even give it a shot, then there's no helping you. Because if you find that a little bit above your pay grade in terms of your intelligence, then like, cool, man, just go fucking fuck with some other guy who, like I saw a clip the other day, this guy, I guess he's a new influencer dude. He's screaming at this fucking kid. This kid didn't even squat 3 plates well. He fucking failed on it actually, it had to be like picked up. And he started screaming because he didn't get it. Or sorry, it's bench press. He was benching 3 plates and he had to like get help and then he locked it out. And then the other guy's like, throw on 4 plates now. He's gonna fucking get it. It's like, he's gonna get it or he's not gonna get it. It's like, no, he's not gonna get it. And you're not helping him in any way. And the kid was skinny, like he was not like developed, he didn't have muscle. Like you could tell he was probably fairly new to the gym. It's just like, this is how this shit starts, guys. Like this ignorance, like it takes over and next thing you know, everyone's fucked, right? Like so-and-so said this and they did a fucking 300 set leg day and fucking their legs like grew like crazy. It's like, yeah, they're also on a ton of juice and fucking been lifting for decades and you just started, you know what I mean?